conversations on this podcast with people on their way to or part of the top 5% of individuals who dare to dream big and pursue their goals relentlessly. The 5% topic today is all about entrepreneurship and leadership development. Our guest, Andre, will take us on a journey of how he, alongside his two uncles, forged the path to success in the HVAC industry from the ground up. He'll shed light on the sorry. He'll shed light on the unique dynamics of building a business with family members, showcasing the challenges and rewards inherent in such a venture. Andre will also unveil the invaluable lessons learned and the strategic maneuvers that propel their business to success in the competitive HVAC landscape. Yeah. So now this is my guest, Andre Dyer. Andre, thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you
I'm
for having me.
No, I'm so excited to share your journey and your story because I don't think it's like I don't meet a lot of people like yourself that
Yes.
have ventured into HVAC or into
Mm,
business entrepreneurship
yes.
outside of especially my field, real
Yes.
estate.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to share your story and showcase how you have been able to do it successfully.
Awesome. Looking forward to this.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about you. You were born and raised right here. Like you're born in Canada.
Yes.
That's awesome. You're born in Canada, raised in Scarborough,
Yes.
so just
Yes.
right in the Toronto area
Yes.
here. And you've pretty much lived in the GTA,
GTA. Yeah.
right? And you're still living in the GTA, and that's where you built and operated your business.
Right.
You're a husband, a father of four,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm jealous because you have not just two girls,
Yes.
but you have two boys as well. I'm jealous because all I have is girls, and I think it's awesome. And building a business with four children, that is truly amazing because it's a challenge.
Definitely
Right?
is.
It's
Definitely
definitely a
is.
challenge, and not everyone could do that easily. I know that because I've ventured into entrepreneurship myself with kids. I love that you also have a love for music.
Oh yeah. Oh, yes.
You've been a DJ.
Yes. Yes.
I don't think I would have been at any of your parties growing up, but I did love dancing, so I would have been out at a lot of parties over the years.
Yes.
And do you still play music?
A little competition here and there. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
Nothing too crazy.
So
Yeah.
when you say competition, you're saying that you like to like have like equipment out, and you
Yep.
guys are sound
Battling.
clashing.
But sound clash. Exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Exactly what it's
That's
called. Yeah,
awesome.
I love it. It's just competition,
It's
just
just
like a sport. So
yeah,
I love that.
awesome. And so you've got a group of individuals that like to do that with you.
Yeah. Yes,
That's
it's a whole culture. Whole culture. Yeah.
fantastic. So, it's really important to have things outside of your
Yes.
family, outside of
Yes.
your work, and
Yes.
things that you're enjoying and passionate about. So that's awesome. But you also talk about loving basketball and
Absolutely.
martial arts.
Absolutely. So
Is there
basketball,
is there something about those sports that why you've chosen them?
just the teamwork, just growing up seeing the Jordans play, the Kobe Bryants play, the Allen Iversons play, and then realizing, hey, I could do this too. I used to, because I used to play basketball
Yes.
a lot. And then with mixed martial arts, it goes back to competition again. I love that competition aspect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good because I'm sure that just having that competitive. I think that people who are competitive and willing to play sports, even team sports,
Yes.
especially, that helps in all of your lives.
Yeah.
It's like you actually can take the basketball court, like the things that you learn on that court, into real life.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. I wasn't a team sport so
Mhm,
much. I was
mhm.
a runner, so
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
So I was kind of solo,
Yes,
I did
understand.
do some relays though,
Right,
so I did know how important that was, right? And
Right.
my leg
Right.
was very important in the race to the whole unit,
Exactly.
right? And so
Exactly.
that's really the importance. I love sports because it does really. It's real stuff that you can take into
Mhm.
life. Not everything you learn in school you can take into life,
So
but
true.
sports.
So true.
Yeah, and I guess this is a part where it's really important. You have ventured into HVAC,
Yes.
right? A competitive,
Yes.
challenging industry.
Yes.
You've been able to, I think you said you've done done this since you were 15 years old.
Yeah, I've been around it since then. Yeah.
Wow. And I think you've grown up in that, right? Because your
Hmm.
granduncle
Hmm.
and your uncle
Hmm.
have taught you and you've learned from them. So it's
Yes.
almost like a family business that you've created.
Basically, is what it is, and the exposure at that young age made a difference for me
Mm-hmm.
because at that time, I used to think that a 9 to 5 job, working anywhere was the same thing. Whether I worked at, I saw my mom working at Loblaws at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She did PSW. Seeing people work anywhere, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when my uncles actually brought me out in the field to somebody's house and work at their house. Like that was their job, not a
Mm-hmm.
store, not an office, but at their house.
Mm-hmm.
It opened up my mind a little differently. It
Yeah.
really opened me up to the possibilities in the world. And just to add to that, in our family, those two were the ones that were moving up faster than everyone else.
So your uncles, your two
Yes,
uncles. Mm-hmm.
yes, my uncle Victor and my uncle Pat.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in my 15-year-old thinking, I'm saying, well, whatever they're doing, something's working for them.
Yeah.
So I was trying to follow suit with what they were doing.
Makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
Like they were, even though they didn't know it, they were your mentors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly
you,
it.
yeah, and that's. I think that at 15, especially, your mom probably was pleased to have
Yeah,
your uncles as a positive influence and
absolutely.
mentor on you in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I mean, not everyone gets that opportunity to have family members that they can look up to and want to be like them
Right.
because they're proud of what they're doing. So
For
I
sure.
think that's awesome. So, and you also, after watching them,
Mhm.
you decided to pursue
Yes.
going to post secondary
Yes.
for HVAC,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so you didn't just decide you were going to learn the trade and do it, but you were going to get educated in the field of HVAC first.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Now, let me say this. Talking to some influential people in my life, not everyone was on board with me doing HVAC at first.
Okay.
So I tried a few different things, but what I was realizing is two things. One, I wasn't liking everything I was doing, but two, every time I did something, HVAC was always on my mind.
Mm.
But
Interesting.
yeah.
I think probably that from so early in your life at
Yes.
15, that probably had a big
A
impact
big,
on, like
big
it was
impact.
imprinted on you
Yeah,
already.
exactly. Perfect word. Perfect
Yeah.
word. Yeah.
It's funny, and like as much as you try to do everything else or
Yeah.
do other things, because sometimes we're young, so
Yes.
we're not always we're impressionable, so we're
Mhm.
listening to what others are saying.
Mhm.
We're also not sure, so we're trying other things.
Yeah, yeah.
But no matter what you did, you ended up back at
For
HVAC.
sure, for sure. And the beautiful thing about it is, um, if I was, this was actually a bit of a life lesson for me. But if I listened to everyone that was telling me that maybe I shouldn't do HVAC,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I would have been. But I know this: them telling me not to do it because of whatever their limited mindset was at the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
It showed me that I don't have to listen to everybody. It
Yeah.
showed me that there's more than one way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
It showed me so much little things in that lesson alone.
Yeah, sometimes I
Yeah.
find it's good to hear people tell you not to do the thing
Yes.
that you feel that you should
Yes,
anyways, and you
exactly.
go and do it.
Yes, exactly.
Because sometimes it's actually, you have to be careful when you tell children not to do things,
Yeah.
because already they're already feeling passionate and deep. So it's almost like you have to play mind games and you have to make sure you say it and do it right. But I do agree with you that sometimes it makes sense to think, why is it that they're telling me and discouraging me from something? Because maybe they haven't even done it. Maybe they don't
No.
really even know.
They didn't know. That's what I realized.
Right?
Yeah.
They think that they know what's best for you,
Yeah.
maybe, or what, especially family.
Listen, the same people that told me not to are so proud of me today. So
That's awesome.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're glad that you didn't listen to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Exactly.
That's
it.
That's even better. It's even better
For sure.
because because you've been successful too, and so that's part of the reason why that they're happy that you didn't
Yes.
listen to them, and that's good. But when it's a passion and when it's something that you really desire, anyways, I don't really think it's hard to get it out of you, other than to live it and experience it. So you have built a company, City's Choice Comfort Air since 2018.
Yes.
And you are now a domineering company in that industry. So I'm so proud of what you've done so far. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that you are.
Thank you. I'm very proud. And I'm still learning, still growing.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of my accomplishment thus far.
Awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
We're going to take a break
Mhm.
and then we're going to come back
Okay.
and we're going to continue.
Sounds good.
Enjoying our podcast? Stay connected beyond the episodes by following us on our other social media channels for exclusive content and updates. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share to help us grow and reach even more listeners. Your support means the world to us. Let's keep the conversation going. Well, I think you had said, I like the fact that you spoke to when you come out of college or, like even though you were looking for a job, expecting that they would value post-secondary. It was irrelevant to most employers. Not that it was irrelevant, but maybe it wasn't the key area. It's like, what experience do you have?
Coming right out of school. So an advantage I had for myself is I was looking for jobs in the beginning of the semester. So I was letting people know that, hey, I'm in the course now, and in a few months I'll be available for you.
Yes.
Because in April, let's say when the course is done, a lot of guys are asking me, hey, how did you get a position? Because I'm trying, and I'm telling them like, hey, I'm in Humber, and they're like, okay, but are you certified? Like, what can you do? Like, you know, and I faced that the first year, but I learned from that. Yeah. So they don't really care if you went to college, to be honest with you. They just want to know you're certified. Okay, that ground is covered. Now that you're certified, what can you do? What do you bring to the table?
Okay.
If I put you out there, can I leave you out there? That type of thing, basically.
And I can understand the focus would be to know that you can do the job, and not just that you learned how to do the job. Right. I can understand.
It's a challenge. It's mostly that, but there are companies that'll say, hey, we're hiring, we need a helper. Those are the ones we hope are out there.
Yeah, because then you're almost doing a partner, like an intern, or
okay. Yeah.
Enjoying our podcast? Stay connected beyond the episodes by following us on our other social media channels for exclusive content and updates. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share to help us grow and reach even more listeners. Your support means the world to us. Let's keep the conversation going. Done amazing things, and I think it's very relevant to, I can learn from you, others can learn from you, but maybe if you could, in your own words, share your journey and your story, maybe even as far back as you want to, but largely to encompass what you've done in building your company.
Got it. Okay, so I guess we touched base on my uncles being my inspiration, so I can kind of take it from there. So in dabbling into the other things that I was doing, for my first job, I told you it was 15, so my first job was McDonald's. So I learned a lot of customer service.
Kind of everywhere everyone starts, right?
Yes.
I mean, they are the empire of the world.
It's true, right? And then, a couple other jobs after that.
But you said something key. You learned your customer service experience there.
Absolutely. Took away from it, for sure. And then just before I really got into the post-secondary, as I was saying to you, the call center jobs. Worked at all the Rogers and the Telluses. And
so you were that person that was
RBC,
calling me on the phone to set up plans and programs?
No, but guess what? So I'm glad you said that. I was the guy that the angry people call.
Oh!
Yeah. Why is this on my bill? I need a new phone.
That's me.
That type of
That's
thing,
me. I get those calls all the time. We just had 2 this week.
My brother got a new phone at this rate, and I've been with you guys forever. I don't understand. Like those type of calls.
Yes, that's me. So you're kind of in the loyalty department.
Exactly.
The person who takes all the complaints.
And I had to deal with them one by one. And at first, I wasn't looking forward to it. But I realized that it taught me how to diffuse situations. This guy's coming at me with his heat. This lady's coming at me with her heat.
I love it.
Yeah,
HVAC, heat, yes, burning you up. Gonna take you
I can't get away from it.
You can't get away from it. It's all in you. You're just wired that way.
and what I learned is that they're not mad at me. They have a situation that they need dealt with. So once I think from that point of view, it made it so much easier to deal with these people. Because now I can talk to them as a friend or as a family member and say, hey, Sharon,
Yeah.
hey, Nicholas,
Yeah.
I'm here for you. I hear you.
It's important that you call their name
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
That helps bring yeah.
Absolutely. And
So you didn't study psychology or sociology
no,
in
not
school.
at all. Not at all.
You know how to use it.
Yeah. And I've heard other workers like, hey, you know, get at people, but I realize, man, these people they have a situation they need it dealt with. What's the best way I can deal with it? I will say this: these companies, like especially Rogers. I'll point Rogers out.
Yeah.
They didn't like me because they give you a certain amount of power. I don't know if I should be saying this on this podcast, but they give you a certain amount of leniency.
Yes.
But they advise you not to use it as much as possible.
Absolutely. That's how businesses work and operate.
I understand. So I use that leniency.
It's the max.
And you know what? People were appreciative.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I did it all the time, but the reason why I bring it up is because I knew when to use it. I knew how to communicate with people, and it just taught me over time that, hey, you know, if I could do this, here when I got into HVAC, I definitely could do it with HVAC.
I was just gonna say you absolutely brought that skill set to your own business.
For sure.
And your business isn't just someone on the front line for you. You're on the front line in HVAC.
Yes.
You are the one that's out there in
For
people's homes.
For sure.
Do you have someone making your calls today for you?
No, I take the calls.
Yeah.
I take the calls.
So this was great training ground for you as a business person, and that's part of your success.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is because you had great experience already.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rogers.
Yes.
Thank you, McDonald's.
Yes.
They taught you,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They definitely did, and I'm super thankful for that experience. And so from there now, going into post-secondary, going to Humber, excited because I'm going to get all my licensing and, you know, all my foundation knowledge, which I did get. One thing that kind of threw me off a little bit, but it didn't throw me off completely, was that I was only going to come out with one license, which was the gas license, which is the main license, by the way.
Yes.
I thought I was going to get the whole works.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
That's what you expect education to do. Give you everything.
So they kind of lay that on you, like, we don't do the AC program here. Teachers were great. As a matter of fact, two of the teachers, because a lot of them retired now, two of the teachers are still at Humber that I'm still close with today.
Wow. So they even provide mentorship for you during their time there and after?
Still. As a matter of fact, Mary, I don't know if Mary's ever going to listen to this. Shout out to Mary. She's actually said, you know, if I just continue my journey, she's just so encouraging. In the next few years, maybe I can look at a position at Humber, like a teaching position.
Okay.
So that's a door that's, as long as she's there, I know that it'll be open.
That's awesome.
And so, you know, thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was getting at was, they tell you that, you know, you're kind of going to have to find your way in this trade, but they're going to give you that foundation. They're going to give you that base. And it's important because you need it. You need that base. So I got my gas license, but I made some connections. I shouted out Mary. Alan Gaunt was another gentleman that he knew how to get these certifications. He knew where to go, who to talk to. And that was just through his years of experience. And I connected with him through.
And so these are also
he's a teacher as well.
Okay.
Yes, and but more than him being my teacher, it was important to connect with him because he always knew who to go to, what company, you know, where to go to sign up for something. Oh, this you
need those people in your lives, right? He's like, that's what networking is.
Exactly,
and he was teaching you and preparing you for everything. And I don't think you can do without that networking and that.
If he didn't show me a lot of things, I wouldn't have.
You struggle. You might struggle and take longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Right. So more than the sit down in class lessons and some of the hands-on that they did, those things were really important for me.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the networking, like what you said. So after post-secondary, I realized that there was only two avenues to get your AC license, and there's a reason why I'm talking about the AC license.
Yes.
So you could either go through the union.
Okay.
A quick step-by-step with the union. You have to register with them to take a test. To pass that test, you pass that test, and that makes you eligible to be on the list to write another test. And then when you pass that test, then you get on the list. And once you're on the list, it's for companies to select you. So it's a bit of a...
It's tedious.
Yes.
Like, why make it so many steps?
Yes, but for them, they're looking at it like, well, hey, if you get on that list, the companies will see, okay, well, these guys are all credible.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's tedious. It's very...
It's long.
It's long.
I already went to school.
Yeah, exactly.
I already studied, and they withheld there, and now you're going to take longer? Like, it doesn't make sense.
And union dues are going to come your way, by the way.
Oh, yes, of course. Because that's what they're hoping, is that you'll be a forever client.
Yes. So there's that avenue.
Yeah.
Or you can go with a company
Yes.
that offers an apprenticeship. A lot of companies are hesitant to do that because a lot of companies feel like, well, if I hire you and I give you this apprenticeship, as soon as you get the license,
You're going to leave.
yeah, what's the guarantee you're going to stay? That was the big thing.
Yeah.
Fortunately enough, I was able to work for Reliance,
Okay.
one of the head honchos in the HVAC industry,
Mhm.
basically the head honcho.
Yeah.
They had
I use them.
Yeah,
We all use them.
Kind of
I
can't get
love
away
them,
from them. And so they offer the apprenticeship,
Okay.
but they offer it to select people. You kind of have to prove yourself to them.
Okay.
What can you do for them? How well can you do it? How consistently can you do it? Are you willingly doing it? Like, there's so much little factors, but once they see that you want to do it, you want to be there, they'll offer it to you.
Okay.
And this was actually a good life lesson for anyone.
And did it condense time frames too? Like, it's a little less than doing it the union route?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
100%.
it made, okay.
100%.
Plus you're learning and you're
Yes.
with a company and you're earning.
And in the field too.
And in the field, yeah. Okay,
It's-
so it makes sense.
For me, it was the better way to
Yeah.
go.
It sounds like it makes sense to me. It sounds like the
For
best one.
sure, 100%. And so for anyone that's listening, that's thinking about going into HVAC, they told me that you need to be in a position for a minimum of 12 months. So a minimum of 12 months. And so when I got hired, finally at Reliance, I'm kind of speeding up the story a bit, but when I got hired into Reliance, I was so gung-ho. Oh my gosh, I'm in Reliance, I'm going to be this great HVAC tech, and I'm going to get my AC
Well, and you're with a big
license,
company.
and-
That's a pretty big, I can see why people were proud of you.
Yeah, for sure. But once I stepped into the building, saying these things, I'm sure people are looking at me like, who's this guy, this new guy, slow down. And I was hearing things like, well, we've been here for like 3 years, and, it's been a long process, and, you're the new guy, so you may have to put in some time. and everything. And, so I said, you know what, okay, no problem. I understand where they're coming from.
Yes,
I'm going to keep to myself, but I'm going to work hard. Held my head down, worked hard, hit the ground, learned a lot through Reliance. And when I looked up, I realized that there was so much more to what I thought I was going to do coming out of school. Because when you go into school, you're thinking you're going to either fix things or you're going to install things. I realized that you have to upsell with these companies. I realized that you're like a growth, you're like a growth, you're there for growth for the company. Now, you're not just there to fix, you're there to grow them as well. If that makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hiring you to help their bottom line.
Yes.
They're hoping
Exactly,
that
exactly.
that your skill set that you have already and the ones that you'll learn on the job will help them earn more.
Exactly. That's exactly what it
Makes
is.
sense.
Not everyone's willing to do that because everyone still has the mindset of, well, I just want to fix and go home. Because I know that's what they expected of me, I embraced that. And in less than 12 months, they looked at me and said, hey, I think he's the guy the type of guy that we're looking for. And they actually offered me an apprenticeship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So into the role of getting your AC license?
Yes, the AC apprenticeship.
Yeah, the AC apprenticeship.
Yeah. When I did that, eyes were opening. Not just like employees, but like management. Eyes were opening. I did a lot of changes there. I don't know if I should share them. Should I share them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want to
You
know.
want to know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you got me curious.
So first of all, I think I was the first guy in Peel to transition in less than 12 months. So that was exciting for me.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, I was like, to be honest, I was like, okay, well, let me push this. Let me see how much I can get out of this ride, right?
Yeah.
And because I was doing well at Reliance, I asked them if I could do a 4-day work week.
What?
Because that was a dream.
Now you're
that was
negotiating.
A dream. Yeah. And at first, there was one guy in particular that was fighting, And I was like, okay, fine. He's fighting. All it takes is one guy, and they'll shut it down. But then when I got into my new position, I was doing even better than I was in my last one.
Oh, wow.
So I brought it back to the table again, and they were
Yes.
like, yes, absolutely.
There
Absolutely.
you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you were able to negotiate with a big company.
Yes.
In less than 12 months,
Yes.
they were already offering you something that some of the employees who'd been there for 3
Yes.
years or more
Yes.
wasn't able to get. That's
Right.
amazing. You were probably a stellar employee to them because there's no way that companies would do all that.
I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to toot my own
No,
horn,
not at all. We
but-
can hear from listening to your story and knowing others in the industry, you were doing amazing.
And I want to give some credit to my uncles because I watched their work ethic.
Okay.
A lot of work ethic, for the hardworking guys there. Can't take that away from them. And that taught me a lot.
Yes.
So
yeah.
yeah, I did. You know, they asked me to do something. I tried to do a little bit more, and I put my own flavor on it, and it worked.
It worked. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You probably weren't making friends in this role,
Couple.
were you?
Couple.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one of my closest friends today, Otto. It's so interesting, man.
So he worked with you on this job.
Yes.
In Reliance.
In Reliance. He was a hot-headed guy. That's how they displayed him to me as, and you know, watch out for Otto. Watch out for Otto. When I got to know Otto, I realized why he was like that. When we were talking, he told me, because I told him my journey to where I got to him, and he told me that guys just used to be so negative towards me, and that's why I'm like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get where you're coming from. But I said, listen, man, it's you and me now. It's you and me. We're here now. We're brothers now, and we've just been since 2015. Been close ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So maybe Otto might be someone that could come into your business, or is he in your business?
He started his own. We started our own business at the same
so
time.
you're okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congrats on that. I mean, that I think everything from your uncles, that guidance, that mentorship and inspiration that they gave you to those college years where you had you've had tons of great mentors because your teachers were also great mentors, and then the opportunity to come out into a big company like Reliance. Like you were destined to be successful in the HVAC industry.
I feel like there's something to it. Even when I was at Reliance and they were doing a career day, they chose Humber as one of the places. And so the owner's wife, she's in the HR department, and it came around to our email, and I was like, oh, they're going to Humber. I wonder if they will let me do that. And I sent the message to my manager, and she was really good to me, and she reached out, and they said, yeah, you went to Humber? And I was like, yeah, that's where I'm coming from. And they actually went there with me. So the owner's wife, another gentleman, I can't remember his name now, and myself, we went to Humber, and they just sat back. I was like, yeah, let me talk to these students. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you're closer to them than the owners, anyways, in terms of your experience and your coming out of school So that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
So they even put you in leadership roles like that to represent the company beyond, the HVAC field. You were able to represent them at the starting blocks where you have not children, but young people who are coming up wanting to be in the industry.
That's what I was going to touch on. Exactly.
And I think as a company, if I was Reliance, I'd rather choose someone who is one of my role models, like in terms of great employee. You've done things in shorter time spans than others.
Which I kind of surprised myself with that, but it was crazy.
I think because you didn't realize how this was your passion and destined. You were destined to be in this field because you said it from 15. Right?
Yes, definitely. So now, saying all this, some people might be thinking, listening or watching, they might be thinking, well, why didn't I start with my uncles from that age? So, to be honest, they were on their own journeys, and I was kind of doing my own thing too. Like I said, I've worked at other jobs, call centers. I was just trying to figure things out. But it wasn't until I was at Reliance and I felt I was doing really good that I said, wait a minute, I could be doing this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like the light bulb started coming on,
Yeah.
and every night I would be jotting down ideas or researching things. And by this time, my grand uncle Victor was kind of one foot out the door, but my
Okay.
uncle Pat was definitely on board. But they don't want anything to do with social media, anything to do with anything along those lines. So
Yes.
I realized I had a little work ahead of me.
Yes.
Put it
Well,
another
now
way.
you were trying to do like this is a generational
Yes,
thing,
yes,
right?
yes,
Like
yes.
there's no way that their generation is going to be interested
Yes.
in the same things that you
Absolutely
are,
not. Absolutely
right?
not.
I mean, they probably learned the computer, but
Yeah,
beyond
yeah,
that,
yeah.
they may
Oh,
not
gosh.
even. Yeah.
I'm still trying to get him 6 years, 7 years. I'm still trying to get him to download WhatsApp. So.
Well, I think that might be a major. Like if you're able to accomplish that, that's major
Yes,
because it does.
yes.
It's generational for sure.
Absolutely.
And I think that your business has probably benefited from your youth because
Absolutely.
you've been able to bring into the business for your uncle
Mm-hmm.
or uncles that the change that is necessary to be
Mm-hmm.
successful in
Mm-hmm.
business today, which is to be on social media, to have a website,
Yes,
to have a presence
yes,
out there in the market
for sure.
beyond a building, because you don't even start at a building, right? Your truck, you're on the road.
Basically, yeah. Your truck is your building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is a great point. We're going to just take a short break,
Okay.
and we're going to get back together in a moment.
Sounds good.
Okay. So.
Enjoying our podcast? Stay connected beyond the episodes by following us on our other social media channels for exclusive content and updates. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share to help us grow and reach even more listeners. Your support means the world to us. Let's keep the conversation going.
You would have like quit and never gone back, but you didn't because you went the route that you did. You're here now at the success that you're having. So I think it's important to highlight that the light bulb went off, you built your own company, and the three key things that you took from that company, those companies that you worked for before, from McDonald's days to Reliance, have served you well in your business and in your endeavors with your uncle, so that you are now a very successful HVAC company of, I think that's about 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years. So, and it's just growing, and like all you can see is just you going to continue to
push it,
evolve
as
it.
you can,
Yeah, and I mean you've already built a fan fave, some fans on social media. Yeah, because he's got like over 7,000 followers. And so you can just speak to what we just covered.
I gotta keep that consistent though. I gotta keep that consistent because I stopped for a while and I see what happens when you stop.
It falls off.
Yeah.
And then maybe just talk about your takeaways, right? Then I'll help guide you to that. The takeaway, which I think one of the things that you said to me was that you have to be open-minded and not limit yourself to
like one dimension.
Yeah. And that's like when we chatted before. And I think that if you can speak to that, then I'll try to get you to another takeaway. So outside of the fact that you want to not be open-minded, you built your business around seeing your clients as family.
Oh yes, you did touch on that.
Okay. And then we can wrap with where you're going next, which is kind of how I fit into it, is that you're moving into building other investments outside of your business, so that you can just continue to grow and build wealth for yourself and your 4 kids and your wife. Right. So does that sound good? Okay. So we're ready?
Yeah.
Is it rolling?
It is.
Okay, so we've been rolling, so you can take some of it. So let's continue where you left off, which is the light bulb went off. And I think that is key. So it went off and you then started building your own company. Okay, so let's hear about that.
Started just looking at it, everything that I was doing for the companies, I realized, there was no reason why we couldn't do it for ourselves. So I started jotting. I think the first point I remember jotting down was a website. It just came to me like website. Got to work on a website. And talking with my buddy Rashman at MK Marketing, felt like I plugged them for a sec there.
That's okay. Yeah, why not? These are people that helped you on your journey to your success.
Yes. He was asking for categories. I remember him saying that we need categories. We need you to break everything down. And then in thinking about HVAC, the three categories, the main three categories were service, sales, and installation. And those are really the big three in HVAC. Those are the big three.
So those are the foundational aspects of your business, and anyone. So like even when you were working as an employee, they were key.
Yes, you were either an installer or you were service or you were sales. That's really what it was.
Okay.
The best avenue to take, in my opinion, as an HVAC tech, is to be well-rounded in all three.
Okay.
Usually going into the trades, HVAC specifically, when people enter it, they have one thing in mind. I want to have my hands on the tools. I want to install, or I want to have my multimeter because I want to fix. I want to check things out, or I don't want tools at all. I just want to deal with customers. I want to be in sales.
Okay.
What I've learned is, like for example, my uncles, master installers.
Yeah.
I won't put anybody above them in installing. I'll debate that to the death. But if I say, hey, we have a service call, they kind of sit back. And not that they can't do it, they just prefer not to. And especially where they are. Yeah. What I've learned for myself is if I follow suit with them entirely, I may fall behind. I know they were very successful, but I may fall behind in the era that we're in now.
Yes.
So I got to make sure that, yes, I have to be able to install, I have to be able to fix, I have to be able to communicate with customers.
Service is so important anyways, because how do you get repeat customers?
Yes, exactly. That's it. And it's a part of trust building.
And how do you get referrals?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like essential.
For sure.
Because if I know that you're going to come back and service what you just installed,
right,
I'm going to refer you to everyone I know.
Of course.
I'm going to call on you again when I need.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And like for me, I'm a real estate investor. I own properties. It's in your best interest to service my product that you install, because then you can go to my next property and my next property.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I had to say that.
No, of course. Yeah, but so no, for sure. So you're right. So that trust building is important. Most customers want to know that they can rely on. If they're going to think of you as an HVAC tech, they're going to want to think of you as an all-rounded HVAC tech.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's important. I agree. So, and I can see how those are key areas, not just in your business, but probably almost every business, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I may not do installation in my business, but sales and service is still very important in any endeavor that you're in.
Yes.
So if you're to provide myself or our listeners some key takeaways, what are some things that you would recommend or suggest based on your own experience?
In terms of
just habits or skills.
So what I would say is make sure that you treat, I'm saying make sure, this is from my own opinion now.
Yes.
Treat the customer the way you want to be treated. Treat the customer like family. That's what I would encourage. It doesn't hurt to take 30 seconds to, have a quick convo with them.
Yes.
They may have a son or daughter.
Yeah.
Talk with a son or daughter. What I like to do is on my way to the call, someone has no heat, and especially if they had it overnight and they're freezing.
We live in Canada.
Yeah,
it's very cold.
Exactly.
It's very cold outside today. If the furnace goes.
So that's it. I offer, what do you like from Timmy's?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Good idea.
Or your kids are there. Okay, maybe they don't like Timmy's. Do they like a McDonald's breakfast? Something like that.
So you're gonna feed them. You know what? Anytime you feed anyone, you're gonna be a forever in there. They're gonna think of you and remember you. And they're gonna want to keep doing business with you.
Absolutely. And even when we're in the house, a lot of the times, I would say more husbands than wives, they like to see what's going on. I say, hey, Frank, I see that you want to see what's going on. I need that tool right there, the green handle tool. Could you pass that for me? Oh, no problem. They're like excited to do it. It's like, yeah, come, I'll show you what I'm doing. Yeah. So that's another form of trust building.
Absolutely. Getting them involved, showing them, like they know, they're going to trust you more.
For sure.
Because now they're a part of the process.
Absolutely.
And you're right. I'd want to be a part of the process too.
Yeah, but...
and tell me what the tool is called so I can call it by name.
Yes.
I want to know is that, it's not just a green handle tool.
It's a nut driver.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a nut driver.
I want to know the names. I'm very interested in the process too. I do like, even though I've largely focused on, properties in terms of buying and holding and I like seeing the build and the
Yeah,
finish and the install, so I do like that.
absolutely.
But sorry,
It's
I
all-
diverge.
it's all-
I diverge. But yeah, so I agree with you. In every business, if you can treat people like family, make them feel, you know, your genuine warmth and concern about them and their children.
Yes.
I mean, because not
Yes.
just them, but their children.
Yes.
Then you're going to for sure be successful. I can see why you're successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I try my best.
Yeah, I can see why you're successful in business. And I've watched you anyways. I've seen
Yeah,
you
yeah.
as a father. You're very nurturing, very good. So these are natural skills for you that you brought to your business and it's enabled your success.
For sure.
But beyond this,
Mhm.
what's your next venture? Like, what is it that you want to still accomplish for Andre beyond HVAC, which you've been successful at?
Yes.
What's your next area of success that you want to?
Beyond growing in HVAC, growth, being able to provide and protect for the family. So that's a key thing for me. And in doing so, I'm looking into investing.
Mm-hmm.
Before I used to think like stocks was the way to go. Not knocking stocks. I think stocks is important.
Yes.
But for myself, when I started learning about real estate,
Mm-hmm.
that actually was another mind-opening experience. Just like when I learned about HVAC.
Yeah, and your uncle's already told you that HVAC in Canada is like essential and
Yeah,
you need it.
For sure.
Well, real estate
For sure.
is essential and needed. Like
Yes.
we can't, like no matter what we do with AI and all the other technology stuff, we're still going to need houses and places to live and sleep.
Exactly.
So real estate is almost a staple in our lives that you can expect will be here after we're gone.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
pass it on to your children.
I'm seeing that.
So, and I know that's kind of how we met and how we've
Yeah.
built a relationship because I'm in real estate and we've been able to work together on some of
Man,
this.
and
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. Very
Yeah.
proud. Very happy to have met you. Very proud
Yeah.
to work with you.
And you've
Definitely.
already started building your real estate. So even though it's your next venture, you've actually already started
Yes,
that.
got a foot in, got my feet
You've
wet.
got
Yeah.
multiple properties that you own now, and you're just going to keep adding to that.
Thank you so much.
I think
Thank
one
you
of
so
the things
much.
that you've already told me very early on is that you want to own multi-units.
Yes, that's something. Just like I remember I told you, HVAC was always in my mind, no matter
Yes.
what. That's in my mind. That's
Yes.
like in my mind.
Oh,
for
then
sure.
it's bound to happen
Yeah.
because I can see whatever goes in Andre's mind becomes his reality, which is awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today,
Thank
Andre,
you for
and
having me.
sharing. Oh, I'm proud of you that all that you've accomplished, and I know that you have a lot more to accomplish, and you're going to all the things that you endeavor to do are going to happen.
And
It's
you're
already
a
happened.
big part of my journey,
Yes,
Andrew. So
yes.
thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you
Yes,
again for
yes,
coming on.
Definitely.
This has been amazing. Yes.
Enjoying our podcast? Stay connected beyond the episodes by following us on our other social media channels for exclusive content and updates. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share to help us grow and reach even more listeners. Your support means the world to us. Let's keep the conversation going.